Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to have a bit of a discussion today about the impact that the Cyberpunk collab reveal had on the gacha space, because one thing is clear. For pretty much anyone that's had an opportunity to take a look at this trailer, take a look at the drip marketing, and of course, take a look at some of the news over here where it turns out this character is not going to be free, but this one, Rebecca over here, she actually will be. So there's a lot of hype surrounding it just from what's going on in the game, but of course, we also need to talk about just the quality of how this collab has been integrated into the Wuthering Waves world, because I don't think anyone can deny that this is probably the best collab we've ever gotten in gacha history. Just from the perspective of, it's very clear that they've designed a bunch of high quality cutscenes featuring all these different characters, had them interacting with the game world itself, and naturally, right, also a lot of the other playable characters that we're going to be having too. And especially when you compare it to some of the prior works that Kuro Games has done, like, we all know they did a good job with the PGR DMC collab, but like, this is the story of it, bro. You get like a couple of cutscenes here and there, but it's mostly just like, you know, 2D stills and like dialogue and stuff like that. That's kind of like the exact opposite of what we end up seeing in Wuwa. And, well, it's kind of obvious over here. They're gonna have a big story role, and their chapter, and their quest line that they're gonna have too, it's probably gonna be miles ahead, the best one in the space. And so naturally, now that Kuro Games has played all of their big cards, they've summoned all 5 pieces of Exodia. Now it's time to see what's on the other side of the board, the other side of the table when it comes to other gacha collabs in the space. And don't worry, there's been plenty of posts over here that will really get your jimmies wrestling. Do you all remember this collaboration years ago? You might not. You might have tried to if you were a Genshin Impact player. Wipe this one from your memory. Yeah, you got a free 5-star unit in the form of Alloy, but I'm pretty sure the way that this collab happened was that you just got mailed a copy of the worst unit in the game in the mail. And then she never did anything, had like no actual mechanics, was basically just there as an advertisement, a paycheck that Hoyo received. And in exchange, they gave you a big piece of fucking coal on your roster. She also has, like, no constellations or anything either, so there was, like, no way to pull her. She was just literally meant to be garbage. I don't think that's going to be the case for Wuthering Waves. And, of course, when you look at the model over here of Aloy, bro, they fucked up so bad when it comes to actually translating the feel of the character, their design, all of that stuff into the Genshin Impact world, while Wuthering Waves, with whatever the hell they decided to do when it comes to, like, the modeling, the rendering, and all of that, guys, I'm gonna be honest, you could take this as official art from Edgerunners. You could literally take this as official Edgerunners art if you just didn't see the woo-wah part, you just block that part out on your screen, and you could say the exact same thing for Rebecca over here. Then you take a look at how their models have actually been integrated into the game, and, well, let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of exactly what you would expect. I think most people can say this is a 10 out of 10 representation of their actual look. They look really fucking good, and I don't think anyone can deny that, especially if you've been a watcher of the anime. Not even close. You can't even make like a slight comparison over here. It's some actual dog shit. What about some other collabs that have happened a bit more recent in memory, right? Maybe the Genshin Impact, the Alloy one, was a little bit unfair. What about the Fate collab that just happened a couple of months ago in HSR? Yeah, what about the Fate collab? As you can see over here, faithful representation actually looks better in Wuwa than she does in some of the official art. That's Lucy. Then you got Caster from Fate Stay Night, and, well, I guess it was too much work to render her. Yeah, it was too much work to render her and not make her look like a regular Pedicani NPC. Guys, these were the servants in the Holy Grail War. Hoyoverse, the billion-dollar company, literally, like, ran out of the budget, I guess, to even, like, A, make the baseline models look decent, and B, well, actually decide to, like, I don't know, like, make the quest not look like shit. Like, is that too much to fucking ask? And I think this photo over here really does it the most justice possible. Translated from Russian. Now, don't attack me. I have no intention of offending anyone or their tastes. That's how you know he's about to drop a bomb. When he leads up with half the post saying, I'm actually not trying to piss anybody off because I know what I'm posting is about to piss people off. I just want to discuss collaborations. In fact, this thought has been with me for a long time already. Why do I already know what he's going to say? Because as you can see over here, these are a bunch of stills from the Woo-Wah Cyberpunk teaser. And here they've got the actual look of some of the characters from all of Hoyo's collabs on the right. What's obvious over here, ladies and gentlemen, is that as we read more of the critique, they're basically calling out Hoyo. And as soon as Kuro released the Cyberpunk teaser, I realized they're really working on their game, putting the money in the right places, and actually developing it. I'm used to watching, the company's failed collaborations from Hoyo, where they don't put effort into the characters and the models. And we don't really need to look much further than this situation over here. Good morning, Solaris. This is a line from the Cyberpunk teaser. And then you got Britain over here at HSR. Woo-Wah will actually go ahead and like render and model out Night City. Actually go through the effort of designing this for the collab, and like Hoyoverse just took the leeway background from Genshin Impact and then made that Britain. They literally just took leeway from Genshin Impact, all of its assets, and then just called it Britain. And if you thought that was the worst part of the Fate collab, I got something just for you, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that when it came to HSR's Fate collab, you were told that there were no English voiceovers? That you could only listen to the characters in, I do believe, JP? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's not that they took away the ENVAs, they also took away the JPVAs too. You guys remember this whole silent film bullshit? That's the audio of the quest, by the way. Yeah, there was no VAs here either. And you can kind of see firsthand, there's something a little bit wrong with Archer's model. I can't really put my finger on it. He looks like he's made out of clay. They fucked up so bad with this quest, it was unbelievable. But do you want to know what we're probably getting in Wuthering Waves? The fact that this is in English probably means we're gonna get all the English VAs.
Good morning, Solaris!
I think they even got the guy that did the Good Morning Night City, and they got him to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, you can probably see all of the framing that's going on over here. Hoyoverse, with its repeated strikeouts, doing the worst fucking collabs in gacha history, making it look like, right? They're just the most embarrassing developers in the space when it comes to honoring an IP. They have given the craziest alley-oop ever to Kuro Games, and I think the crazy thing is that they didn't even need to go this hard. But what this is also going to mean is that collabs in the space should probably have like a new gold standard moving forward. And I'm hoping that when other developers, right, get to see the actual quality that's occurring over here, English VAs, all of that stuff, really making it feel like the Edgerunners world is coming alive in Wuthering Waves, that just starts elevating collabs as a whole moving forward. Because I think it's kind of obvious that Kuro's gone above and beyond when it comes to everything over here. What do you think this means for future IPs that want to collab with gacha games? Aren't there going to be way more that are actually going to be open to this idea? Because a lot of the times, right, gachas have gotten this reputation, probably due to dog shit collabs like this. Gachas have gotten the reputation, ladies and gentlemen, that they're kind of just like cash grabs, low budget, lazy, so on and so forth. That's what collabs like the one on the left end up doing. That's what collabs like this one end up doing. That they're just relying on IPs, they're just relying on like the popularity of whoever they're collabing with to sell, and then they put no effort at all into the actual update. This is the direct opposite of that. They might have put more effort into the Cyberpunk collab than they actually put into the goddamn story. Maybe 3.2 was a piece of shit story-wise because they were putting all the resources into here. I think a lot of people would understand that. David's VA, Zach Aguilar. Oh, yeah, no, he's going to be in there. Yeah, we're getting the Traveler, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, the ENVAs would not be retweeting and talking about this shit unless they were there. And let's be honest here. Have you ever seen a developer do a more faithful representation of the collab units, the collab IP? Probably not. And you can see from this photo over here, ladies and gentlemen, the engagement has not been ignored by CN. You can see that the Edgerunners collaboration trailer, Good Morning Solaris, it's #1 on Billy's site ranking. Yes, China's version of YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. CN fucking loves this shit. 4,000 plus people are watching, 1,000 bullet comments, 173k likes, and it's basically been up here for like the longest fucking time. That has been the reception from CN on everything that's in this trailer. So all the talk that I've been having, right? All the things that I've been saying about this collab just absolutely mogging every single other one in the space, I feel like it's even doubly as relevant for CN because CN gets like way more collabs than Global does. Way more collabs than any other region because, you know, because of how the businesses and the sponsorship deals over there work. And so they've probably gotten way more garbage, way more nonsense, way more trash that they have to like go through when it comes to collabs. And so something like this has to be the craziest breath of fresh air that the space has seen in a while. And I think this much is clear. Kuro Games might have actually just saved gacha with this one. Because if there ends up being more collabs, more popular IPs, more high quality integrations, and then the space just keeps growing and growing and growing in terms of collabs, IP holders actually feel like they can trust devs to do a proper job and not making some cash grab nonsense. Shit, the sky is the limit at this point. Because now, shit, are we gonna get a Witcher? Are we gonna get a Witcher collab? Are we gonna get a Cyberpunk 2077 collab? What is coming up in the future? Because I'm pretty sure CD Projekt Red, if they trusted Kuro Games to put David into the story, I feel like they're probably going to trust them to do a lot more stuff in the future. Yeah, I'm waiting for my Geralt and Ciri, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought about this breakdown and comparison, and peace out.